26-year-old Courtney Spraggins arrived to the Western Ranch Apartments on December 17th. She was starting a new chapter in her life. The single mother of 2 small children had met a man on a dating site prior and turned into an off-again and on-again relationship for 2 years. I'm thinking that Courtney wanted to be more on-again now. She was expecting her 4th child, in a sense, the 2nd with David. She had suffered a miscarriage, and now she was expecting again, and couldn't have been more thrilled. But was David thrilled? He had taken her out to a cornfield and said that he was going to kill himself. I guess he was trying to do something to stop her from keeping this baby, but Courtney was keeping this baby. She was so distressed after that, she left him and went to go stay with her parents in Maryland. He begged for her to come back. Courtney's parents did not like David or the way that he was treating their daughter. They also suspected that he was being unfaithful to her. She would drive 10 hours just to see him and spend a little bit of time with him. Sometimes when she was in Georgia visiting her children, she would take a detour before heading back to North Carolina. But she hadn't been staying with David. So now there were plans for Courtney to move back and have a family with David. David was persuading her to do so. She was taking a chance, a big chance. Young and optimistic, she wanted what we all want, for someone to accept and love us. She had to love him. I'm sure she loved him. She had to trust him. David McCoy, 28, is a police officer for Huntsville, Alabama. So she probably felt, in a sense, safe with him, like he would protect her. She quit her job, and she was on her way to start this new life with David, despite the feelings of her parents. I'm sure all smiles and ready to start the year 2022, but he told her he wasn't ready for her and that she needed to come back. What did this mean? This was all planned, but he needed more time. That's what he said. David had been engaged since 2021 and was living with his fiancée. But he was able to keep this from Courtney's since their relationship was long distance. I don't believe his fiancée knew that another woman was carrying his child and on the way to be with him. Courtney was hurt by this, I'm sure, but he needed more time. Courtney would give him more time. I wish she hadn't. Courtney would drive the 10 hours to Maryland from Alabama, where her parents were. She exchanged text messages with David. He was rude, cold, mean. He asked him, what was she supposed to do in reference to her leaving everything behind to relocate to be with him? He told her, quote, a bullet to the head sounds good to me, end quote. Wait, what? That's what he said. A man that's supposed to, according to people who knew these two as a couple, love and care about her? Why would he say such harsh words? Words that shouldn't have been ignored. She ignored them. I believe he always said dark things about life and his guns. 3 weeks to the day, David told Courtney he was ready for her to come back. He was going to take care of her and the baby. And she did. On January 7th, she arrived to David's. She texted her father to let him know she made it safely. He didn't know that would be his last communication with his daughter. He buzzed Courtney up, and around 8:04, the two went for a drive in David's truck. He was back around 9:40 a.m. without Courtney. He would tell several different stories of what happened to Courtney. He called the police station on the non-emergency line and asked if there were any calls about shots fired in the area. He had been awakened by gunshots. He went downstairs to investigate where the gunshots had came from. More versions of the story. He even had placed a call to 911 saying that Courtney had self-harmed herself. Investigators arrived to the scene. The young woman was sitting in the driver's seat of the car with a gunshot to the head. Police asked David if he knew this woman. No. Or maybe he had seen her once, but he didn't know her. That's what he said. They were concerned that he did know her. There was a photo of David in the car on the sun visor. That may have been a little hard to explain. Later, David would test positive for gun residue. David was now being questioned, interrogated, if you will. It lasted 5 long hours. Meanwhile, his home and patrol car were being searched. Investigators found a pistol in his closet that was not his service weapon. Courtney's phone was in his closet as well. Messages left by David to lure her back to his home. Mail that was addressed to Courtney, along with an ultrasound picture, was in David's patrol car. He had a lot of Courtney's personal belongings and property for someone that didn't know her. He would confess he did it. He was arrested and placed on administrative leave at that time and jailed in the Madison County Jail without bond. He has since been fired. Due to Brody's Law, he has faced 2 capital murder charges in the death of Courtney and their unborn baby girl. The state is seeking the death penalty. He knew that she loved him. He knew that she had 2 children. He knew that she was happy to be carrying his child. He knew that she wanted to be with him. He knew that she was 7 months pregnant with a baby girl. He knew that she named her baby girl Addison. He knew that her children was going to be left without their mother. And when he called her back, he knew that he was going to kill her. My condolences to Courtney's family. Justice for Courtney and Addison.